This is dedicated to the memory of Dan Mahoney. John, or Robbie Robinson, brought the three of us together in 1996 to help crew his sloop, Rolling Stone, from Panama to the U.S. East Coast. Dan was responsible for provisioning the trip. During that month-long voyage, we spent a week on the island of Providencia, or Paradise. With Dan, the three of us rented small Honda motorbikes to tour the island. That led to Robbie and I shortly afterward to get our own BMW touring bikes, which, thousands of miles later, we continue to enjoy riding. We think Dan helped us do that. So, this October morning, 18 years later, Jennifer and myself set out from home to rendezvous with Robbie for a 3-day trip that includes traveling 150 miles of Northern California's Highway 36. It is a trip that has been described as one of the state's best roads for motorcycling. The first leg of the trip is from Walnut Creek to Cloverdale. We leave the San Francisco Bay Area by crossing the Martinez Bridge and heading north through the Napa and Alexander Valley wine country. A short while later, we bypass Vallejo and enter the lower reaches of Napa Valley on Highway 29. It doesn't take long to begin seeing vineyards. Soon we're passing through the town of St. Helena. We pick up 2-lane and Highway 128 here that will take us through the hills and over to Alexander Valley and Russian River country. The winemakers are with us again as the road straightens out in the flatland of Alexander Valley. Turn onto US 101 North in Geyserville, where there is a vintage car show in progress, and cover the short leg on into Cloverdale. We meet Robbie for lunch at the Railroad Station Bar and Grill, a bit of memorabilia of the Northwestern Pacific that used to serve this whole area. After lunch, we begin the 168-mile leg north on US 101 that will take us all the way to Fortuna. Pass by the towns of Ukiah and Willits and up into the hills of the Redwood country and the Eel River drainage. It doesn't take long to see why they call this the Avenue of the Giants. Just south of Garberville, we take a break for afternoon tea at the classic Benbow Inn on the scenic Eel River. reemergence into civilization, we rejoin the abandoned Northwestern Pacific Railroad near the old mill town of Scotia on the Eel River. A little after 5, we are in for tuna, where we seek out a motel, enjoy local food, and get a good night of quiet rest. We are off again about 9 o'clock in the morning, and soon we're headed east on the objective of our trip, California Highway 36. We initially follow the course of the Van Dusen River. The first of 3 passes, taking us into the Trinity River drainage. An hour or so later, we cross a second pass and take a break at the little community of Mad River. It is an almost mysterious and quiet place where you can get the world's most impersonal hamburger and coffee without ever seeing the proprietor. Continuing on again, we climb up to the summit of a third pass and stop for a commanding view of the Trinity Alps to the north with Mount Shasta in the distance. Then it's all downhill into the upper Sacramento Valley and on towards Red Bluff. Across the terrain becoming sunny grasslands speckled with oak trees. Into Interstate 5 just above Red Bluff and are settled into a motel to spend the night in the late afternoon. In the morning, we have a date for breakfast with Kenny Lindauer, a classmate of mine from UC Davis, to visit the Lindauer River Ranch before heading home. Kenny, his son-in-law, and their families grow prunes and walnuts on the ranch along the beautiful Sacramento River, and he shows us some of the intricacies of how it's done. Kenny sees us off on our way towards home with a couple of bags of walnuts, and we continue southward down I-5 to Williams. We get there right around noon and have lunch at Granzilla's, a favorite landmark in Williams. Heading on after lunch, we leave I-5 and go west on Cal 20, back towards the hill country of the Coast Ranges. Back in the lands of the pines and the oaks, we turn again south on Cal 175 towards Clear Lake and Middletown. Skirting Middletown and taking Cal 29 south, we think the trip is nearly over as we embark on the next downhill leg towards Calistoga. With lots of downgrade, tight curves, and impatient drivers pushing from behind, it turns out to be the most challenging experience of the trip. After taking a moment or two to relax at the bottom, we part company with Robbie near Calistoga as he heads on towards home in Marin County. We continue southward on the relative straightaway of Cal 128 down through Napa Valley towards Walnut Creek. However, we are not beyond making an R&R stop at one of our favorite wineries along the way. Late afternoon traffic picks up as we re-enter civilization around Napa and get to cover the back of a Pepperidge Farms truck for a half hour or so. The speedometer says everything. But things get better as we get back on divided highway and continue on uninterrupted towards home. Retracing our route 2 mornings ago across the Martinez Bridge, the familiar shape of Mount Diablo acting like a beacon off in the distance behind Walnut Creek. We leave I-680 at the Olympic Boulevard exit. A couple miles further on, turn onto the Rossmore Parkway. Go through the gate into Rossmore, past the golf course and the new community event center at Creekside, go up the formidable Ptarmigan Grade, and turn left onto Terra Granada and proceed on to Entry 3. And we're home. We've clocked more than 600 miles in the last 3 days through some of the best country California has to offer for motorcyclists. But there's much more to experience out there, and it's just beyond our garage door.